Hi everyone, Ali here. Doing another take 5 today. A colleague that I work with gave me this spiral notebook and I thought it'd be ideal to do a take 5. So I've taken some prompts, add hexagons, it's my first prompt, add puffy paint, add texture paper, add the colour orange, which is always a challenge for me, add a border, and use unusual items to apply paint or add paint. So with this, I've gone to the middle of the book. I'm going to start there, so haven't used this book before. So I applied gesso on both pages. And I don't mind it on the thinner side, just gives that picture bleeding through the gesso. So I dry that off with my heat gun, give it a blast. And now I'm going to add paint with unusual items. So the other day I was in a cheap shop, found this pastry silicone brush, and I thought, well, it's not a paintbrush, so I'm going to add paint using this silicone brush. So I have to add orange, and it was really funny using this brush. Let me tell you, it wasn't like painting food or painting paint. So, but it did give a bit of texture within the paint. So I've given a spritz of water as well, just to thin it out just a touch. And I do the other side as well. Give it a coat of orange paint. So the paint is by Semco and it's bright orange that I'm using. So now I've got Semco violet colour, because I think violet or purple and orange go really well together. I was in the hardware store a couple of weeks ago and I came across this drywall tape, and I've seen it used by various other art journal YouTubers out there. So I've cut a bit off and I'm just putting the tape in the paint and then applying it onto the page, and it gives the effect of crisscrosses on the page. So I've put all that all over. Both pages. So I give it a bit of a blast with my heat gun, make sure it's all dry for the next stage. And there was some thick bits on here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to paint the previous page and the page after, just the border, with violet colour paint. And this is the Semco. By the way, this is an acrylic paint. So, and I do like these paints. Give it a bit of a blast with the heat gun. And then I do the previous page. And just the outside is all I'm doing on that previous page. I haven't gessoed it or anything, because I'm not really bothered about having the background show through the paint. So give it a bit of a blast with the heat gun again. So now I'm going to add a border. So I've got a wavy ruler that I used in my scrapbooking days, and I'm ripping a border. So on both sides I'm doing, and on both pages on the bottom. And also doing the top as well. So I really do like how this has come about. I'm really pleased with this actually. I'm going to do this effect a bit more often. It's not perfect by any means, but I don't want it perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to distress the edges of the orange pages just with some black soot distress ink, because I just want to cover up those white bits that show through. So I do all around the edges and on both sides of the pages. So both pages are done. Then what I'm going to do, I use PVA wood glue. It's really good for paper as well, and I have got a big bottle of it, so I put it in a small bottle. It's easy to manage that way, and apply it to the back and stick it to that border page that I've done. So that's my border there done. I think it looks pretty good. Something different. Now I'm going to move on to the hexagons. I've got a Fiskars hexagon punch, and I've got some paper. So I've got some patterned paper, and I've also got some textured paper, and it's a bit like collage paper, I guess. It's very thick as well. So this here is just plain pattern paper. Thought it'd be nice just to put the pattern paper, different colours, different patterns and so forth on the page. So these 4 pages here are patterned, and they're fairly thick as well. So they were from my old scrapbooking days as well, so they were already die cut before we had die cut machines. So just cutting out. And this one was a bit hard to cut out actually. It was a bit thicker, so I had to just clean up a couple of the edges there. And I'm just doing one of each just to apply texture paper. So now I'm just going to arrange, oh no I'm not, I'm going to edge each hexagon there with some black soot, distress ink again. So I'm going to do it to all the hexagons that I've cut out, or hexagon I should say. So after doing all of those, I've got my quote, and it says there's always an odd one. Sorry, there's always an odd one in a group. So I thought I'd put all the hexagons down, but a bit of a lover with butterflies, and my butterfly is going to be the odd one in the group, obviously. So I've got a box full of die cuts, so I went through and I found a yellow butterfly, so I thought that would stick out quite nicely. But before doing anything with the butterfly, I thought I would go through and stick all the hexagons down first. I was a bit challenged with the spiral spine here, trying to stick the hexagons in the spine area. So I think next time what I would do is not put anything in that spiral spine area. I'm going to leave it blank, I think. So you live and learn when you do art journals. Now with the butterfly, I just wanted to stick down the body of the butterfly. Didn't want to stick the wings down as such. So I've stuck the body down. I'm still not happy with that hexagon there. So this is where I just muck around with it and just try and get it somehow to sit in this spine here. So this is where I thought I'll just snip some slits into the hexagon, so maybe that can sit within that spiral part there. So after I've done that, I've put my quote up the top there. There's always an odd one in a group. So just making sure it's in straight. There's nothing worse than putting a quote in and it's not straight. So still mucking around with that middle hexagon there. I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's better than what it was. So I've got this fluffy paint. And I got it from my local Kmart, so I think I paid like $10 and there was a dozen colours in there. And I thought, oh, this would be really good to incorporate somehow in my art journal. I just got it out of the kids section, where all the arts and crafts stuff is. I go in there and have a bit of a nosy around. So on the butterfly, I'm just sort of colouring my butterfly in with some colours. So I've used some blues, some greens, some oranges and some purples, just to make him look a little bit better than just a yellow butterfly. So here I am with the orange. I'm just putting some dots in. As such. Some blue, and some green down the bottom, down the body of the butterfly, just to make him look a little bit colourful. So all done, butterflies all done. I think it looks pretty good. So this is my page, close up of the butterfly. I'd just like to thank you for watching. If you liked what you see, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And I'll see you next time. See ya!